Okay, so Harry Stebbing asked, we're going to deliver. Harry, if you don't know, he runs a venture capital firm and has a podcast, 20VC. There you go, which I highly recommend you watch. Great podcast, great guests, really valuable knowledge. Look, this is what he asked. Obviously, in relation to GPTs, about about downloading all the podcasts, all 3,000, and then being able to ask the 20 VC bot about questions about the venture capital firm world and give it advice. So we're going to see if we can go ahead and build that. And yeah, the first thing we're going to want to do is go on to download his all of his podcasts. So this is the latest one with Ryan Peterson, who I think has I think it's FlexiPort maybe. I've heard him before, but yeah, let's download this. So the first thing we're going to want to do, is download the transcript of this. So we're going to download this, and then we're going to take it to YouTube Transcriber. This is perfectly good enough. So we're going to get this. It's going to come up, and we're going to be able to, and this is the transcript. You can use another good one I like to use is Fireflies, which analyzes. It's a bit more in depth than the YouTube one. Fireflies allows you to capture the different voices, and therefore you can get the different assign the people to the different voices, which is actually more beneficial because then you can get highlight just Harry's part, or highlight the guest. In this case, it would be Ryan's. So we're gonna, and you can check through this, put breaks, but we're going to just copy the entire transcript. And then you're going to want to do is paste this into a Word document. And there you go. So that's obviously hefty. What I like to do as well is put a summary. I like to put two things. I like to put a description of the podcast. So I'm going to put a description of there. And maybe give an introduction about Harry. And 20 VC. Then I'm going to do a part about the guest, and then a summary. Oops. Summary, yeah. So yeah, I will show you what that's like filled out. But once you've got that, you can collect most of that information normally from the description. There you go. Yeah, that is perfectly good enough for the guest. Let's paste that in. Oops, weird color that. Jesus. Anyway, don't really matter about the color. It's not going to noise. And then a summary. Summary. Let's see if there's a summary in this. Okay, instead of what they discussed, this can do as a summary. If we, geez, what the heck? Right. And we can just copy this and paste this as a summary. You can always use ChatGPT to give a summary, or if you use Fireflies AI, which I recommend you doing, then the Fireflies gives a pretty good summary of videos all automatically. But yeah, that's pretty good. You have a bit of, oh, I've not done the introduction about Harry, but I'll generate that later. You have a bit about the guest, a summary, and then all about the transcript. Now, an extra thing you can do is use ChatGPT to analyze all of the video and generate potential FAQs that could be asked. So you can go on to I won't do it now, but you can go onto ChatGPT and then ask it, to generate potential questions in the style of FAQ and generate, 20, 30, 40, 50, however many you want, different questions that are in the format of, an FAQ style. And it's going to generate potential questions that could be asked all about this podcast that guests could ask, and then it could answer them. So it's going to go do the ones Harry asked, but then it's going to go a bit more into detail about maybe potential questions that could be asked. Why this is important is because it's really going to help your knowledge base out. Is when you're going to ask your agent questions, it's already going to have some answers pre-formatted answers generated by that are already generated from ChatGPT. So then it's going to make it far easier for ChatGPT to then scan through the document, find the specific question, and then formulate the answer. Yeah. Yep, we're happy with that. And let's download it. And then you're going to want to go to Voiceflow. I'm using Voiceflow at the moment. I know, obviously, the GPT has come out, but I've not mastered GPT yet. I'm still playing around with it, and I still think for the moment, things like Voiceflow just have better functionality. They've been around longer. They're Voiceflow is used by some of the big companies, JP Morgan, BMW use it in their car system, and it's built for these enterprise companies, and I think it does a really good job. So this is a basic assistant that we're building. So you're going to have a welcome note. You're 20 feet, ask any questions, and then you're going to create. I like to create as many variants as possible. So you're going to AI generate some variants and make sure they're all right. The next step is to capture the user's reply, and we're going to save that as the last utterance. And then the next part is the prompt. Now I've done a pretty long prompt here. And it's going to use so you're going to use the response AI step, and then you're going to base it off the knowledge base. And we're going to build up the knowledge base over time. So I have a quick introduction here. Explain that you're a professional assistant. Gather information for the 20VC podcast. It's hosted by Harry. You're going to go into the focus areas of the podcast is venture capital, startups, talk about the audience, and what you discuss. And then for the purpose of, I'm going to specifically talk about the purpose of the conversation. Users will ask you questions captured in the last utterance. You'll be provided snippets from the podcast, and your task is to provide guidance, tips, and advice using the language and style of 20VC podcast. So therefore, this is sort of where you talk about prompt engineering. You're going to talk specifically in the language of 20VC. Only provide long answers if specified. and these are specific things, like never mention the context that you're provided with. You're merely sharing knowledge as if you're Harry. Avoid making references in the third person. Do not finish, with these endings. And you can really start to expand this. If you see any issues with any of the responses you're getting, you'll then want to add this into your prompt. If you're having your answers, there's always these words are used and you don't like that, or it's finishing off with certain words, just keep adding it to your prompt until you get something that you're really, really happy with. So that's prompt. So that's your prompt. It's going to generate an output based off your prompt, and then you're going to go, was that satisfactory answer? Yes. Let's follow the yes step. So yes, you're going to go, is there anything else you can help with? Yes, I have another question. No, that will be all. So if you have another question, it's going to send you to this block. Excellent. What would you like to know? And you're going to record the last utterance again. And then you're in this constant feedback loop where they ask a question. If they have another one, you go back to this block 6 and you go through. Another thing to note is, say that didn't answer the question, you can say, sorry about that. And at this point, what I like to do is add in a step, maybe a Zapier API call here, and you can record the question that went wrong into a Google document sheet. And this way, you can every couple of days you can check the questions that didn't get good enough responses. If they didn't get good enough responses, you can look at your Google Sheet, and then you can correct that in your knowledge base or in your prompt, so that you really aim to reduce the amount of apologies you have to send, and that it did answer all the questions. And another thing to note is, no, that be all, and then it's going to go to this end block. Okay, enjoy your day. Remember to subscribe. And here I've generated, this is a subscribe here. It's going to take you to the YouTube page where you can subscribe. And this is, there's a lot of things you can do. Obviously, you can put in hyperlinks. Maybe you want to sell a product at the end. Maybe you want to subscribe to a newsletter. Anything you want here, but that's going to help funnel and really grow your subscribers. If you have something like this, whether that's a product, whether it's subscribers or a newsletter, wherever it might be, you can obviously have these links. Another thing to note is you can sort of add in pictures, which is a cool step. I'll show you here. And you can do it a direct link or upload. This is just going to make it look a load better. One thing you could do is do an image, maybe a link, and you could do, when it talks about the knowledge, it could give you a direct link. You could add this in, a direct link to the specific podcast in which that was on about. Say, your question was, could you send me a link to the podcast, all the podcast episodes that Ryan Peterson has been on, and it could give you a link of all the hyperlinks to all the podcasts they have been on, and then you can watch them directly through the links. That'd be a cool feature that could be added on. Well, this is just a quick one. And yeah, I'll show you how to add your knowledge base. So that's pretty easy. You're just going to add a data source, add a doc, and then you're going to be able to upload that document. And that's pretty much it. And then we'll go on to running and publishing this 20 VC assistant. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a quick run through of what it looks like. Obviously, I've added little features here like the logo there. And let's ask the question: what is the landscape of seed investing like right now? And let's see what it says. So yeah, it's given a pretty good response to what seed investing is like right now. Did that answer your question? Yes. Let's ask one. So I've just, yes, I have another question. Who is Ryan Peterson? So this is something I've just added on. So I hope it has managed to format it. But let's see if it comes up with a response. Excellent. So that's a really nice response. Peterson is the CEO of Flexport, one of the most impressive companies that's been on the podcast. I've been on the podcast, so it's talking as if it was Harry. You can obviously change that if you didn't want that. But Flexport has built, it talks about that under Ryan leadership. In our discussion, Ryan has joined us. So on all of this one, it's obviously gone over, not managed to fit it all in, which is something I can change. But let's say, did that answer your question? Yes. Do you need to know anything else? No, I'm pretty happy with how that is. No, that would be all. And then it's going to say, okay, enjoy. Remember to subscribe. Let's see if the link works. And boom. And yeah, very, very impressive. I'm very happy with that. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope it's given you some insight in how you can format different podcasts, and how you can create your own bots to be advisors for your own podcast. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Right, before we go, just to let you know, I've got a newsletter. Feel free to subscribe. Link should be in the description. But yeah, join that, and you'll find more of my insights into AI and what the future holds. So feel free to subscribe to that. Thank you.